What's going on, y'all? It is your boy King Jay, and we are here for the first official episode of Royal Voices. This is the official podcast of Kingdom, a creative hub for music, art, and fashion where we provide resources, networking, events, and a ton of other things for creatives. So, y'all get into the gig. This is a black owned business, entrepreneur, big LLCs. Okay, so come on over. This is the start of that space. I am so excited to be here. Y'all don't understand how much planning and preparation and time and money has gone into this. And I am here to see this through. Um, First things first, this podcast will be a space through its name, Royal Voices, where we have individuals pop up here and there, to share their experiences in various industries, in the music industry, the art industry, visual design, fashion industry. We're going to also have people on here speaking about business things. You know what I'm saying? One thing y'all going to learn about me real quick, I'm about a bag. You gonna get to a check. So I want to make sure creatives and other individuals out there who have, brands or businesses or turning their creative passions into monetary opportunities know how to, form an LLC, form corporations, get an EIN, build business accounts, gain capital. We want to make sure we can do what we want to do and enjoy our creative space, but we can also make money off these spaces too. So I want to make sure this is a space where we can do that. Of course, you're gonna have this space also be just the area for me to just spit my shits about what's going on in the world, in the pop culture spaces, in the music industry, in the fashion industry. I'm really kind of covering a variety of things. Now, this ain't gonna be one of them messy podcasts. I'm not here to stir the pot. I'm not here to create havoc. I really want this space to be an entertaining space, but I really want it also to be a supportive space, an encouraging space, an uplifting space, but a truthful. We not gonna sit here and play no games, okay? So, without further damn ado, before we get into everything, if y'all want to make sure y'all stay up to date with everything Kingdom has going on, and best believe we have a couple of things cupping down the pipeline. So I would encourage you all to stay in the loop by following us on Instagram and TikTok at KVNGDOM.co on both of those platforms. And if you want to keep up to date with the kid and see what I'm doing in my day to day, I do a lot of other stuff. Follow me on Instagram at _JAYTHEDON_. And you will also find my link tree in my bio with all my other links to things. So tap in, welcome, and again, first official episode. We in this motherfucker. We in this bitch. We is in this bitch. Now, I want to just establish this is not a political podcast. But I would be delusional as hell to not acknowledge the world we're living in, and also in the creative space. Art, music, fashion have been things to not only spark change and idea generation, but it has also been used as the voice of people during political situations. Kendrick Lamar's All Right. All right, Nina Simone's Strange Fruit. These are examples of people using their craft, their artistry, to highlight the things of the world. And I would be, again, delusional as hell if I didn't talk about what's going on right now in the political sphere. Now, y'all, I'm not the most political individual by any means. Personally, I don't be attuned to it. But this year, I find myself not only attuned, but truly tracking, because y'all, shit is going crazy. From the attempted shooting of Donald Trump during a rally to Joe Biden pulling out of the race to now Kamala Harris entering the motherfucking thing. Y'all, so I just want to cover some things real quick. Real quick. So, I'm not going to get into the shooting because that's a whole That's a whole other thing. But I think the most recent of what's going on is Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So let's really get into that. So Joe Biden has recently pulled out of the presidential campaign. A lot of people were giving him pressures after a debate he had with Donald Trump. Now, I really want to clarify and say both parties were terrible, 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 terrible during that debate. Uh, let's just call a spade a spade. We got it. We got it. We got to keep it a bug. Now that was one thing, but people were focused a lot on Joe's age and his mental status. I personally feel as if Joe Biden has dementia of some sort. Um, but again, I'm not his doctor. I don't know his medical diagnosis. So people, were attuned to his stumbling words and incomplete sentences and just kind of thinking about how he is faring at this point in time. And I want to say this is also not new. This is not new. This Joe Biden has been doing this for a little bit, like a while. So I think within that space, that pressure he was receiving from not only the public, but people in his party were saying, Joe, I think you should sit this one out. And that's what he did. He put out a letter saying he's pulling back from the 2024 presidential campaign. And in that pullback, he then endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris. Vice President Kamala Harris. So, again, feel bad for Joe. Aww. But Kamala, people when that name got brought up as a potential, everything exploded. TikTok exploded. Twitter exploded. All the think pieces started coming out. And the first thing we were seeing were people saying she could never win because she's a black woman. The response Kamala Harris received after her being endorsed, meaning she wasn't on the ballot yet. She still isn't on the ballot yet. We will get that at the Democratic National Convention. That will be the individuals who will be featured on the ballot. However, when they was just mentioned her name, the response of how many people felt she just couldn't do it. It would never happen. Out the gate, simply because she's a black woman. I want people to understand how detrimental that thought process is. We are in 2024. Now, I think it is important to note she will face challenges from a large population of people in the United States because, unfortunately, racism, misogyny is very much alive. There's people who don't like black people. We've understood that. We know that. There's people who don't like women. We know that. There's people who don't like smart women, educated women. There's people who despise black educated women. And we are starting to see that. So after the endorsement, all social media outlets started going crazy. And within 24 hours, let me just clarify. I'm just checking my source right now. Within 24 hours, Kamala Harris raised $81 million. $81 million. I was a little shook. I'm not gonna lie. That's the campaigning was it didn't even start. And also within that 24 hours, within about 48 hours, I believe, there were Zoom calls held with over 40,000 women on it. There was a rallying of the NPHC, which is the National Panhellenic Council for the Divine Nine, which is Greek life for historically black organizations that came together, the leaders of the, and we'll get into that in a moment, who came together to, put together a petition to start saying, y'all, we got to be about in this voting. So the support behind her is present. There's people who would desire that. Now, with this endorsement, This did catch the Republicans by surprise. Donald Trump was livid. I think because he decided, being Donald Trump, he decided that this win that he felt he was going to get because he was going against old Joe Biden. They had the RNC convention. Trump and his elected individual for Vice President J.D. Vance treated it as such. Trump has, leaned into the very radical MAGA supporters, the individuals who are threatening civil wars if he does not win. That was the audience he was catering to. He disregarded, that middle space of women, the middle suburban women. He just disregarded all of them. He disregarded people of color. He really was leaning into this very radical dictator type energy and individuals who would support him, not his policies, not his ideas, him. So now, because he's going against Vice President Kamala Harris, because it's looking like she's going to be on the ballot for the Democratic Party, he's scared. So now he's scared. And I'm saying that formally. He is scared.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
He's scared because y'all who don't know, Kamala Harris is a prosecutor. She has a history of being a prosecutor. So when it comes to being in that space, you have to, be very articulate. You have to be able to, have high levels of critical thinking, be able to put two and two together, and really stick to what the focus is. The thing with Donald Trump, if you watch any of his presidential debates, if you watch any of his, rallies or anything like that, he doesn't really talk about nothing, but he attacks people. So his campaigning this time has been more so focusing on how ill-equipped Joe Biden is. And now he's not there no more. It was, Joe Biden so old. Oh, Joe Biden, he's not fit to run the country. Oh, this, oh, that. And they were really leaning into things that weren't even Joe Biden's or his administration's fault. But because Joe Biden couldn't really articulate his points pretty well, he would just let Donald Trump get away with things because it was just like he really couldn't form a response well enough. So now him having to go against Kamala the Harris Kamala gonna cook that man. It's a prosecutor versus a felon. And I'm not saying a felon just because of the recent court trials he's been in. Donald Trump's entire career is bankrupt businesses, lies, fraud. It's so much stuff. So many things that she could really dig into, but she gonna focus on everything he says and be able. I just feel like he is worried, and it's evident because he's pulling back from debates. He's pulling back from debates and saying, certain news outlets are not fair. These are not fair spaces. These are not. Everything was not fair with Kamala, but it was fair with Joe Biden. And I do feel the Republicans are freaking out a little bit because, it's been, I do think they did. This is the bait and switch. Now, if Joe was, I don't know if this was a tactic, if this was a hee hee ha ha gotcha moment, but the timing is impeccable. And now, because the RNC convention, once the conventions happen, those individuals are locked in for the campaign. So the RNC campaign is already solidified. J.D. Vance will be the vice president nominee, and Donald Trump will be the presidential nominee. And now the Democratic convention will be happening in August, where we believe Kamala Harris will be, the first Black woman running for president. And it's looking like she's going to win. Now, I think there is a space we need to be cautious of. We are still in America. And yes, anything is possible. And I don't believe because she's black and a woman, she can't win. But I do believe because she's black and a woman, she will face some of the most disrespectful, outrageous, and off the wall backlash from people who don't support her. And with, like I said before, Republicans calling for civil wars, I don't know who they fighting because nobody trying to fight them. I don't know what they're fighting for or what the interest of fighting is outside of they are having an issue with people of color, people in the LGBT community, people who are poor, because I guess it's illegal now to be homeless. Education, they hate people learning. Religion, if you ain't talking to God, the Christian God, they don't want you here. I don't really know. But I am happy to see a refreshing sense of politics entering the room, because Kamala Harris gives me what the presidential space is supposed to be. You get what I'm saying? I think with Trump and Biden these last few years, since 2016, since Trump entered the scene, it became one big reality show. And every day it was, what the hell is for to happen now? I missed the days where politics was negotiations and debates over what the fee for free and reduced lunch should be. How much should the gas cost? But now we got to worry about, is the president a sex offender? Is the president bribing foreign nationals? Is Congress secret spies? Y'all, these movie ass topics in a real life politics is so crazy to me. So I'm hoping for the best. I would love to hear all of yours perspective. Let me know if you're interested in voting for Kamala Harris. Are you interested in voting for Donald Trump? Let us know. This is an ever-changing space, and I think it's something to be attuned to. So y'all stay in tune with politics, please. And with that, to kind of close that out, I do want to echo the importance of voting. So if you are new to voting or you are registered to vote before and you need more information, please go to Vote.org. It's VOTE.org, where you can go and learn more about your polling locations. You can register to vote if you've never voted before. They'll let you know what documents you need to bring in order to register. You can register in person. You can register through the mail. You can do a lot of things. You can vote in person. You can vote through the mail. So go learn about your options. Go learn about your polling locations. Go and learn about the things that will be impacting everybody. And I will say that this election, again, regardless of whatever individual you're voting for, keep in mind the impacts it will have on your day-to-day life. Keep in mind the impacts it will have on your friends, your family, your kids, your nieces, your nephews, your grandma, your granddad, your neighbor, people across the country, because a lot of things that happen in the United States, almost everything that happens in the United States, impacts other parts of the world, through the economy, through the political systems. So please, 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 please be attentive and use your critical thinking when casting your vote for this 2024 presidential election. Now, I mentioned earlier the Divine Nine. Now, the Divine Nine is affiliated with the creative space, I will say, with everything that goes into it, but it has so much more beyond the creative aspects. Now, for those who do not know, I am a proud member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Now, being part of the Divine Nine, that simply means these are historically black organizations. We're called the Divine Nine because there's 9 black Greek letter organizations that have joined this council over time. Now, Divine Nine has been, in the news this past year or earlier this year when it came to what is actually going on in these organizations. Now, I'm not sure what started this spin, what started this narrative, what started this train, but for some reason, the conversations of Divine Nines being cults or being demonic in nature or serving false gods and idols were in the forefront. And then we started having people denouncing these Greek letter organizations because they said it did not align with their values. They were forming covenants outside of God and all of these things. Personally, because I had a few people that I know who denounced people who were, really involved, really engaged, drop out because they felt it was going against their Christian values and principles. I first want to say the Divine Nine Greek letter organizations are not demonic. Okay, let's start there. When we are in these Divine Nine spaces, for those people who ask, what do these Greek letter organizations do? We host fundraisers. We give out scholarships. We mentor. We lead. We host community events, book drives, back to school drives, banquets. We donate hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. And for Phi Beta Sigma specifically, that's what I can speak on. For Phi Beta Sigma specifically, we have the motto of culture for service and service for humanity, meaning we are out in these mean streets making sure everyone around us are good. When we are in these secret sessions that y'all can't get into, and that's where I think a lot of this notion comes from, when there's secrecy somewhere, people get upset because they don't have the knowledge. They don't know what's going on. People are nosy. And when you exclude people from spaces in a time where everything is inclusive, people feel away. I want to say, when we are in those secret sessions, y'all, we are literally sitting in chapter meetings. Chapter meetings are weekly, bi-weekly, monthly sessions motherfuckers sit in to talk about chapter business, national headquarters business, and how we gonna implement things within the community. We sit in sessions sometimes for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fucking hours talking about tablecloths for a banquet. We sit and debate about how much a scholarship should be. We sit and debate about how much dues should be. Y'all, we don't be in space. I think people really think we be up in here sacrificing fish and shit, sacrificing goats, doing spells over chickens. I don't know what's going on, what the mix is, but it's not that. And I also want to note, I'm not sure since when we started worshiping false idols. I'm not sure when that started. And I'm not sure where these covenants you all speak of come from. I want to break down some terminologies real quick. So I was hearing a lot of people saying covenants, a lot of people saying that word specifically. Covenants, a covenant is simply an agreement between two parties. That's what a covenant is, an agreement between two or more parties. So when you have a car and you have a car loan out on it and you're required to pay a car note, your agreement with your bank, that's a covenant. When you have an apartment or you own a home and you have rent or a mortgage and you sign with your landlord or your bank, you're going to pay these things back on time. You're responsible for this. You're responsible for that. You're in a covenant. So I think a lot of this personally is spiritual insecurity for some people. And that's okay. If you need to find your spiritual path, your way, the God you praying to, do that. But you should not be attacking spaces that never were that to begin with because you felt a way about of some stuff you may have done. Let's clock that T there. Let's clock that T there. Really, let's clock that T there. Okay? It was under my skin for a while. Because people speak with so much conviction on things they don't know about. They don't know what they're talking, or they're so consumed with their own personal experience, they think it applies to everybody and everything. That was never the case. So I'm not gonna get into the mess on this podcast because it's not the space for it. But I had to highlight that just so people understood where I'm going with this, because now those very organizations, the people, the public were saying was demonic. The very people who were saying these spaces were demonic, wrong, God is not looking at this. Now, because Kamala Harris is in the running for president, now the very people who are making little jokes on TikTok, making these funny skits, disrespecting Greek letter organizations and its members, now they're doubling back and saying, NPHC, where y'all at? We need y'all to come out and vote. When people don't even understand, we always vote. When it comes to presidential elections, we out even more. We be out and about for them more local, elections for states and, mayors and stuff like that. But every 4 years, when it comes to these presidential elections, you start seeing NPHC always out in droves. Have you ever heard of Stroll to the Polls? Divine Nine members are individuals who help people get registered to vote, people who volunteer at polling locations, people who educate on the individuals they have as options in these positions. So it's always interesting to me. Nicki said it best, y'all. Nicki Minaj. 1 minute they hate me, then they love me. And social media is truly a space of flip-flop. Flip-flop. So, of course, Divine Nine is going to be out in these streets promoting for voting. Best believe a day after Kamala Harris was acknowledged as the endorsement, all the leaders for each Divine Nine organization came together and put out a statement encouraging, motivating every individual, not only within the Divine Nine, but everybody who may have eyes on the Divine Nine, may be seeking opportunities to join, to go and vote. Use your voice. That's what these spaces have always been. They've been advocacy spaces for civil rights, for health care, for well-being of the community. So keep that in the forefront. And I know, even to my people out there who denounce, because y'all hosting denouncing conferences and stuff now too. God is good all the time. That's just how I be feeling. But I would also encourage you all to be out here voting too. If you denounce Greek letters, I'm speaking specifically to you AKAs. For those who do not know, Kamala Harris is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. The first, right? I love y'all. But if you denounced, get your butt up and go vote still. Don't make it no Greek. Y'all get this Greek thing you're taking too out of proportion. Too much focus. This is a piece of y'all life. Y'all gotta shift your gears just a little bit. Go outside and hug a tree. Put your feet in the water. Stand in the grass. Ground yourself. Because I promise you there's more to life than Greek life. Okay? And the last thing for them idol worshipers, anything can be made an idol. Anything you're putting too much time into outside of the things you're supposed to be doing, your spiritual practices and all those kind of things, anything you put forward in front of that. A lot of y'all got Greek life and God on the same level, and that was your issue starting one. So I hope you all who have denounced find whatever it is you're looking for and propelling forward to be better. Y'all, we gonna be out at these polls. Go vote for the final time. So what I want to get into next is Megan Thee Stallion's self-entitled album. Megan, how did y'all feel about it? Did y'all get into it? Did y'all get into it? Now, I think. Well, first of all, I want to say I liked this album. I like this project. What you just heard was King's Rule. King's Rule is a space where I give my verdict on a track, an album, a project, a look, whatever. When you hear that's a yay. That's the people. That's the kingdom saying yay. That's a yay. Now, we have the other side. If something ain't it, if we not feeling it, that was the kingdom's nay. Meaning throw it in the trash, take the trash bag out, put the trash bag into a new trash bag, put that trash bag into the dumpster, push the dumpster over a cliff into the sea. Because we don't want that. Keep it. Okay? Now I got again. Megan album was nice. Megan album was nice. There was a few songs I didn't like, but I was summing it up to I don't think I was her core audience for a few of those things. But the project overall was really, really nice. Like it was a very good album. One thing she was gonna clarify, she's a rapper. Okay? She gonna rap. She gonna rap. She's a rapper. And that project showcased that. She did address Nicki in the very beginning. The first 3 songs, I think it opens up with his, then a song called Figuera, which I didn't care for. But then Rattle.
And
Rattle was cute. Rattle was really like, look, girl, get off me. She said, let it go. It's been 4 years, and that was since Hot Girl Summer came out. She told Nicki, go ahead and focus on your husband and your kid. You got other things to do. And it's a part where I'm not sure if it's that song or another song where she said, she ain't got nothing on me. Hoes think that they TMZ. She ain't got no T on me. Hoes think that they TMZ. I said, ooh. And that was an echo to when Nicki was on the track whispering. And she said, y'all don't clown me because, again, I'm a barb at heart, okay? And Nicki is a key to me. So, yes, I know that whole... I know that whole ending, child. I know that whole ending. But when she said, "Ho, the things you've lied about, even according to your mom, you don't want them out, okay?" Yo, I love that so much. But it's a part where she said, "If you do not apologize to your mama in 24 hours." Shit gonna get uglier than Ken Barbie. Okay? Don't play. Yo. I love that outro. Anyway, Megan really cooked it up. And I will say she addressed it really nicely. And this project not only showcases her skill, but showcases her versatility. My favorite song on this project is Mamushi. Mamushi for sure. I like Mamushi because it introduces culture. It brings in a perspective in hip hop I haven't seen before. To see Japanese culture intertwined with hip hop. Of course, we have Korean rappers and Japanese rappers and artists that, for me, it's always been interesting when you go overseas and see hip hop in different cultural spaces. It's interesting how they approach music, because sometimes they'll jump back and forth between English and their native language. Sometimes they'll rap their whole, song in their native language, but the way that they use the words of their language or the sounds of the words in different languages to stay on the track, to create flows, to create punchlines is interesting as hell to me, y'all. I have to give it up. I believe the artist name for Mamushi is Yuko Chiba. Let's have it up for him. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But that song, what I like about it is the call and response. So the part where she's, I get money, I'm a star, star, star. Okane kasegu, oneda wa star. And then Megan come in with her, Okane kasegu, watashi wa star. It's refreshing. It's refreshing. And I think I can't name a lot of artists that would give a whole verse in another language to an artist that Megan knew people wasn't gonna know what the hell he was saying. Let's start there. But it gave encouragement to go read into the lyrics or even learn what the hell he was saying, like learning his words and learning Japanese in a sense. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. It was a vibe. It was. I rock with that. That song, "Spin" with Victoria Monet. The accent song with Glorilla. Where the Girls At? Yo, it was. The project is nice. Okay, the project is nice. I do think it's important to note that Rattle song. Again, was her response to Bigfoot. So people was wondering what Megan had to say about Bigfoot. Womp Womp in a sense was also a response, or like I don't know. Well, I guess I would say it's a response because I was resonating it with when she said, "Your time up. Why is you not clocking out?" That to me it was at Nicki because everybody be saying Nicki, oh Nicki been here too long, da 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 da. But she's still selling out world tours, child. Let's both of them on tour right now too. So when it got into the whole Bigfoot and his thing, I want to clarify something. I didn't speak my piece when this was trending. Megan put out a diss line. Okay? She had one line in his that was aimed at Nicki Minaj. Everything else was at other individuals, including Drake, Tory Lanez, and some other people. Nicki's response was a diss track. Okay, I will say again, I'm a barb. Okay, but like I said before, if y'all got into any of my previous YouTube videos I used to do back in the day, they still up on social media somewhere. They still up on YouTube. Any Nicki Minaj reaction you see me do, I clarify where I say there's two types of barbs. Okay? There are the sane barbs and there are the delusional barbs, the crazy barbs, the ones who will leak your address, that will dox you. There's other barbs who are able to critique the things Nicki Minaj does in her craft or as a person. There's other barbs who are incapable of doing that. Similar to Beyonce and Taylor Swift and other people who have just these very go hard because their name is mentioned, because they own the track, because they touched it, they breathed on it, they gonna support wholeheartedly. I'm one of the same barbs, okay? I like Nicki, you know what I'm saying, but I'm able to also critique things, and I will say that response to that diss line was a little.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
It was a little unhinged. It was, but y'all, it was entertaining as hell. I cannot lie. I cannot lie. I cannot lie, y'all. I love Nicki because she is so animated. She is so talented. She's so smart. But she is a key through and through. And the same I was just saying, yes, I know the ending of Bigfoot. I know that whole whisper part. Don't play. I say that to say, I don't think the rant she went on that felt like 3 days in the night was warranted, but that 24-hour turnaround for that Bigfoot song was interesting. And a lot of y'all didn't like it. A lot of y'all wasn't rocking with it. Y'all gave it a little, and that's okay because I think people were reacting to it for different reasons. One, people didn't like the fact it was a song. It wasn't a song. I think people was expecting that no frauds approach. Two, a lot of y'all didn't like the fact that Nicki brung up Megan Thee Stallion's deceased mother. Which rest in peace, Megan Thee Stallion's mom. I think it's important to highlight a lot of debate has gone on when it comes to, is there a a line you don't cross when you are in a dissing battle. Many have thoughts on this, many have perspectives. I think rule of thumb, people in anything, not even just hip hop, just in societal norms, we don't talk about people's families. Okay, we don't bring up people's mothers, people's fathers, people's grandparents, people's kids. Those are usually off limits. We don't bring up people who have illnesses such as cancer or Alzheimer's, we don't do those kind of things. That's just respecting people. Yes, things can be a key, things can be funny, but it's just realizing those are serious things. Now, I understand that narrative, but to me, as a rapper, as an artist, as a musician, I take inspiration from individuals who have come before me, and I think personally, once Tupac put out "Hit 'Em Up," which was a diss record to Bad Boy as a label staff and an entity, and Biggie, which is why that track is so regarded, because Tupac was disrespectful as shit. Y'all, I cannot lie. He talked about my fofo gonna make sure all your kids don't grow. He said, don't one of y'all got sickle cell or something? He said, that's why I effed your chick, you fat mother effer. I don't know how I want this podcast to go yet. I be wanting to cuss. I be wanting to cuss, but I want to consider my audience. But again, Tupac came into a space where he was just being blatantly off the wall. So once that came out to me, I feel like when you are in diss battles or diss records, I don't think anything is off limits. Personally, I don't think anything is off limits because one, it's a diss battle. Diss is a shortened phrase for disrespectful. A disrespectful battle. So my goal is to hurt your feelings. My goal is to dig in your ass. My goal is to make sure, pause. My goal is to make sure I strike a nerve. You saw this, and we'll cover this in a moment with Kendrick Lamar and Drake. You see this with Nicki and Remy Ma and Cardi B. You saw this with Tupac and Biggie. You saw this with Nas and Jay-Z. You see this with people all the time. Disrespectful. When you are in battle rapping, y'all, that's what was getting me. People was complaining about the disses, and my first thought was, have y'all watched diss battles? One of the most disrespectful diss battles I've ever seen in my life. It was Queen of the Ring. I think it was Miss Pac. I forget who she was going against. But this lady pulled out a monostat box and threw it at her. Pulled up a picture of this girl's house, called out her mattress with the pee stains, the bed on the floor. It was so off the wall. The battle had to end because they was finna fight. They was finna scrap. Diss battles, disrespect is in the forefront for those. So, I think people can feel how they felt about it, but that was another reason why they didn't like the song. And honestly, Megan was making fun of the damn song too. She was doing the whispers and all that. So my fellow Aquarius sister, I'm also an Aquarius. And one thing about us, we not going to show our emotions, even if you hurt them. You ain't never going to see us cry in front of you. You ain't never going to see us boo-hooing in front of you or showing that you impacted us. Now, when we get to by ourselves and behind closed doors, we let it out. We let it out. But because we also are detached, we get over it. You know what I'm saying? So much so we make fun of it. And we just come back and now we got to prove a point. So I think Megan did that successfully, and I have to say, Megan, for me, 5 out of 5 crowns. King's Rule. She ate that up. And Rattle was nice. Now I do want to say, Megan, now if Nicki do decide to respond, don't Don't. I'm just saying. I am proud of both of these ladies, though, and I've been encouraging people around me who've been bringing this up to support both ladies, because they both doing great. They both eating. Okay, this beef and battle and stuff been going on. They once the battle was done, they went on a tour, arena tours. Nicki Minaj is on a sold out arena tour on the second leg. Let's start there. Megan is on tour as well, and she sold out Madison Square Garden. Let's start there. So it's like y'all are both successful. Y'all are both doing your damn thing, and it's just showing and echoing. There's room for everybody. Okay? There's room for everybody. There's room for everyone. And I have to echo something Lotto said, and I know y'all don't get mad at me. I'm just saying I agreed with this. Where Lotto said you are in a time now where if for a female artist specifically, if you have an interest in picking somebody outside of Nicki Minaj, you can. And that is because of, again, some of the things Nicki had to go through to make sure it was easier for some rap girlies to enter the scene now. But now that there's other rap girlies on the scene, you got a Doja Cat, you got Doechii, you got the City Girls, you got rap, you got so many people who are amazing, who are talented. Shout out Rhapsody. Big shout out to Rhapsody. Big shout out to big shout out to Rhapsody. But I think it's important to, big shout out to Rhapsody. Big shout out to Ken the Man. Big shout out to Lola Brooks. Big shout out to all the girls out there doing the damn thing. You get what I'm saying? People are going crazy. They're doing the big one. And I think it's very, very important to show there's room. The same way there's room for amazing, talented male artists. You know what I'm saying? We got room for YG. We got room for Lil Wayne. We got room for Jay-Z. We got room for Lil Baby. We got room for Da Baby. We got room for all these motherfuckers. The same way we got room for them, we can have room for the ladies. And I think if the people would just, and we'll cover this later, if the people would just let them do their thing, we'd probably be in a better space. But final verdict, Megan, continue doing your damn thing, girl. Continue doing your damn thing. Now, I do also want to get into, speaking of the beef, Kendrick Lamar and Drake. So Kendrick Lamar put out recently a video for Not Like Us. Have y'all seen it? Have y'all watched it? Now, I do want to just say this whole battle has been a key to me. It has been hilarious to watch because I don't think I've ever seen something to this extent with a person of this caliber. So when the whole Big Three conversation started, it was originally surrounding Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, who was behind me, and Drake. Now, J. Cole peacefully bowed out in the very beginning, which I have to commend, okay? I know some people were sad, some people was upset, some people was mad. I have to commend because there's a song, I forget the name of the song, but I remember the line where he said, if I smoke a rapper, it's going to be legit. It won't be for clout. It won't be for fame. It won't be because my shit ain't selling the same. You get what I'm saying? He has to actually have a reason to be in the battle. Now, as an artist, I think you should rise to any challenge presented to you. But I also feel like you got to give a damn. You got to care first, You got to care about what's going on. And I don't think he cared to go back and forth with Kendrick and Drake in a disrespectful way. Because I think he knew it was going to become something bigger than just, friendly sparring battles and us thinking, who was the best rapper? He knew it was going to become more. So I'm glad he did pull out. I don't like the fact that he did so after putting out a lackluster song on that, which on a good album, which by the way, might delete later. 5 out of 5. Nice project. But that last song, 7 Minute Drill, pissed me off because if that was your diss song and that was the thing that made your spirit feel so bad, you didn't say nothing. You called them a fly. Unless I missed it, you called them a fly because you said it was easy to swat them down if they wanted to go into battle. I didn't see the need to have to stop my show and apologize to them during my show, but that's just me. But I do respect you pulling back from that battle. I will say Drake said, "LOL, let's get into it." So after the Like That record came out and Kendrick stirred the pot, it went back and forth. Drake had push-ups and Family Matters, and then here come Kendrick with Euphoria, Meet the Grams, and all the other songs. It was so many songs back to back, y'all. It was hard to keep up and keep track with what the hell was going on. But I think the nail in the coffin, because after Euphoria and Family Matters came out, I think the vibe was, Kendrick won this. Drake, he put out some songs. His flows and stuff was nice and approachable. He had some good songs. But I think it was overshadowed by Kendrick's topics of conversation, which were calling Drake pedo, calling Drake a predator, and his friends and people at OVO in some weird situations and cases, hiding a daughter apparently from the public, all of these things. So when Not Like Us came out, that was really just the final bomb. That was the nuke that he needed. And I think with that one, it was overkill, but it did so well, y'all. Have y'all heard Not Like Us? Uh-huh. Not Like Us truly I gotta give it. The song is still trending right now. Y'all still playing this song. Y'all, this song, I think the topic was hilarious to me. The title is hilarious to me. It's just everything about that song is embodying diss. This is what I'm talking about. When it comes to diss records, the detail and focus is what gags me. And I will say even the video was so nice. The video was so nice. I usually like Kendrick Lamar's videos and productions. At times it gives me like these little Spike Lee-esque vibes, I really resonated with Humble. Humble was just visually appealing. But this one, it didn't have a ton going on. It was the vibe the video created. I did record. Yes, I did. I did record a video reaction, so that will be going up soon. I tried to do one for our previous topic for Megan Thee Stallion's album, like a live reaction, but audio was not my friend, Aww. So, but that Kendrick Lamar video, I did do that correctly. So we're going to get into that. But throughout the reaction, you will see me or hear me saying and see me saying that it feels so familiar. Like, it feels like I could call Kendrick up and be like, cousin. Like, that whole video just gave me vibes of, like, it felt like I was a kid again, you know what I'm saying, at a barbecue with my aunties, uncles, and cousins, my grandmas, my granddad, my parents, just being out in these streets, playing cans. You know what I'm saying? Got auntie just pulled up to the cookout. She got peach cobbler, the macaroni and cheese in the back. She needs your help to bring it on in. You got, Uncle Earl on the grill, cooking the brats and stuff and the burgers, burning some chicken a little bit. He got his drink to the side, wearing his little sandals, talking his big shit, yelling across the park. You got the cousins in the back, you know what I'm saying? Got their little drinks going, rolling up or whatever have you. They playing spades and dominoes. We got the people, the boys over there playing basketball on the courts. Here come my grandma yelling at the boys for their pants being down, yelling at the girls because they ain't got enough clothes on. You know what I'm saying? It felt familial. It kind of gave that space where it's like this cultural vibe. And not specifically the negatives of that culture, the things people harper on, specifically when it comes to the Black and brown communities of the world. people harper on, the poverty or the violence or things of nature, but there's so much beneficial things out of these cultures as well. And that's what that video highlighted. Just the fun, just the the parts that we really resonate with. You know what I mean? Visually, it was just good to see so many people coming together. And I think it's very, very important to say this song is beyond dissing. And I said this during the review too. It's beyond a diss. It's beyond a aha moment. This became a cultural staple. And I think it's important to note, when you have the people, you win. Always. 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 When you have the people on your side, you win. When people support you simply because of you, not because they don't like somebody else, not because you can give them something, but when they pop up and show out and show up for you simply because the person you are, you have won. And I think it's important to see that, because that video shows that the people are just vibing. And I want to talk about too the aspect of that togetherness he's building. Now, if you don't know anything about Bloods and Crips, those are two very big gangs. However, they've historically been, ops of each other. But to see during the Juneteenth celebration, people come up onto that stage of different affiliations and different, placements in spaces, they came together jugging, dancing on stage. Even in the video, it's a couple scenes where you see people throwing up hand signs, and you look around and you see all these different hand signs. People who we've always knew to not get along or can't be in the places are now together, are now vibing and motivating to do things together. And I like too the fact that with Kendrick's whole presence in that video was like, he ain't even want to be in that motherfucker. He showed up because y'all was there. Kendrick, the way he was rapping, the way he was just dancing, it was so nonchalant. He was just there for the vibe. I think because it was a scene in that video where he eating some fries with this dude. I think he came for them fries, honestly, because he ain't want to be in that video. But he came because y'all was there, the people. That's what he came for. He ain't giving them at the song no more. I think he over it personally, but he had fun with that video. And in the ending, of course, the subtle Drake digs with the pinata, and he just beating the Drake pinata, the OVO bird in the cage at the end. It's just the minor details that really drives your point home. And I believe that became the fastest viewed video as well when he released it. So it's crazy. And it's a lot in there where he says it was God's plan to show y'all the liar. And I kid you not, it's like Kendrick took over every stat that Drake had, or the records he did break were Drake's previous records. So it was just interesting to see. But I am interested in seeing how Drake responds. Do y'all want to see how Drake responds? How Drake come back from this? I don't know how he gonna do it, because I've never seen somebody get called these names before, personally. So, and the allegations that's a big one. Not just you, your whole team, your camp. I don't know. But again, it's still Drake, y'all. He was in the top 3 conversation for a reason. So I am interested in seeing what the follow-up gonna be. But for Kendrick, I have to give you King's Rule over Ye. Not just for Not Like Us, but Euphoria. This whole approach, this whole situation, the speed of response, the bars, the vibes of the tracks, all are so different. The versatility. You got it, King. So the last thing I really want to get into and cover, or I was going to, let me not. What I was going to cover was JT and Nicki Minaj. However, as I was doing my research and just getting into the space, I think a lot of people are just speaking from areas that they just don't know about. And I personally am really tired of people sharing opinions, sharing their thoughts, sharing their 2 cents before actually reading a story, before actually understanding what the hell is going on, or when things are being taken out of context and twisted and distorted to create narrative. That whole Nicki Minaj and JT thing, I don't even think it's a beef there. Personally, y'all took something Nicki said on I don't know the same something. It's another app that she goes on live to speak to her fans and all that. I My thing is this. Y'all don't need an artist you support to support another artist for you to support an artist. I'll say it one more time. You don't need a artist you support to support another artist to make you feel you can now support that artist. Does that make sense? I think y'all wait and hope for beef to spark up, that y'all fuel it. And I'm speaking a lot to the Barbs. Nicki is a great artist, a great individual, but we have to acknowledge, y'all, there are so many other artists out now. And this is why I didn't understand the whole back and forth with Lotto. Don't drag me, y'all. But I did agree with what Lotto said when she said there are enough female artists now for people to pick and choose who they want to listen to. Y'all have to understand, Nicki Minaj came up during a time where there were rap girlies, but nobody was doing it like Nicki. Okay? And it was quiet for a minute. It was quiet. So when she was coming up, yes, she had challenges because she was a woman. She was doing all this extra stuff, all these voices, all these costumes, all these hairstyles. So she had a lot to go through. People was clowning her one day, and the next minute, now she's the greatest rapper. Again, women, if they hate me, then they love me. That was her whole career. I want people to understand Nicki Minaj does not need to co-sign somebody for somebody to be talented, for somebody to be worth time. Does not need to be co-signed by Nicki Minaj to be successful. It's like if y'all don't get a Nicki stamp for some reason, y'all feel you can't be out in these streets. And that's why I have to commend Megan, because Megan could have easily shut the hell up and let Nicki talk to her crazy, but she didn't. She got in that booth. Same thing with Lotto. She got in that booth. Started calling people names. I love it. Always stand your ground and stand in your craft. But when it comes to these beefs, a lot of them are created by y'all. And that's what be pissing me off. Y'all be in these comments writing think pieces about people you don't know. Arguing with people on social media you don't know, who are also defending, advocating, going to war for a person they don't know. I've seen people talk and defend about Nicki Minaj, JT, City Girls, Megan. I've seen y'all do more defense for these individuals who you don't know than you would defend your own friends. Some of y'all would do more work defending Megan Thee Stallion, defending Nicki Minaj, defending Carisha, Young Miami, defending JT, defending Doja Cat, defending Doechii, defending Cash Doll, more than you will even speak up for your own parents. The same people in these comments cussing out, wishing death on the next individual is the same person who gets scared to send their food back to the cooks because it came out wrong.
And
I can't take y'all serious. And you will never see me in no comments for nan artists outside of myself defending, writing 8, 9, 10 paragraphs about a person I don't know. Social media have given y'all the illusion you are friends with these people. Y'all don't know them. So if celebrities, individuals are beefing, let them beef. Because why? They have each other's phone numbers. They are in the same team. There's a likelihood they could be in the same room. But you hiding behind an avatar picture on Twitter, making think pieces after think piece after think piece after think piece is getting obsessed. Some of y'all need to get off these internets and go outside and dig deep into the ground and touch some dirt. Y'all a little unhinged. And it's concerning. Watching the back and forth between Nicki and Megan, y'all wishing death on Nicki mama. Y'all talking about y'all gonna dig up Megan Thee Stallion mama grave. Y'all asking people addresses. Y'all want to fight the supporters of these. Y'all, they got music. These are songs. And on top of that, most of y'all under the age of 18. So for y'all 45, 39, 29, 86-year-olds on social media arguing with 12-year-olds, are y'all okay? Are y'all okay?
That's suspicious. That's weird.
Now, support and go buy some tickets. You know what I'm saying? Go get the backstage passes, the meet and greets, all that kind of shit. If you want to go talk to somebody, meet somebody, go do that. But I need y'all to be safe in these streets, okay? Because y'all don't know these people. So let's try to be kind, you know? And I know the internet is a place where you think you're anonymous, but you're not. Just because your face is not shown, your data is tracked. Everybody who's on social media in any capacity has a data file in the server somewhere. You can be found. The same way people be getting doxxed, I would encourage you to put yourself in that person's shoes. If that was you, how would you feel? If your address was leaked. If your phone number was leaked. If your phone would start going off all hours of the day by people that you don't know giving you threatening calls. That's weird. So I'm not going to even get to the JT Macon or the JT and Nicki stuff because it's not. Y'all just digging for something. Okay? Let it go. Anyway, so to close out the show, I always want to end with Artist Spotlight. And I do want to acknowledge Artist Spotlight is a space where I will be promoting creatives that I come across. This is a space that you cannot pay for. These are my opinions and my opinions alone. And again, I'm going to be showing people out every episode. So if there's anybody that you may want me to check out, look into, please send me information on Instagram, send me their pages and things of that nature. But again, it's not a space you can pay for. Okay? I just want to clarify that out the gate. You cannot pay for this space. If you are interested in that, I would encourage you to reach out to Kingdom. Now, I do want to highlight this dope artist named Free Soul. His name is spelled FR33SOL. And I have been jamming out a lot to this song called The Journey. It's a little old, but it's a vibe. I play that, and when I say I play that specifically when I'm on my long drives or my plane flights, it's just a zen state. It's just a zen state for me. So I do want to highlight Free Soul. this episode. His Instagram is FR33SOL. I am also an artist. I go by the name of King Jay. KVNGJAY is how it's spelled. I put up my first EP last year titled It's Only Right, because it was only right I put it out. You know what I'm saying? And, I got some things in the works coming down the pipeline. So I ask that you all, of course, support the kid. Again, you can find me on Instagram at _JAYTHEDON. And the link tree in my bio will have all the links, including the ones to my project. And my latest single, Loud and Clear, is also now out on all platforms. So check that out when you can. Of course, we do have a website called Kingdom. So if you ever want to check in with the brand and what's going on with all of that, you can go to KVNGDOM.com and you will be able to learn a bit more and also get access to the kid and the podcast and all those kind of things. Of course, stay following the pages of Kingdom and our podcast along the way on Instagram and TikTok at KVNGDOM.co. So with all that being said, I am so grateful for you all tuning in today. Thank you. Yes, thank you for joining. Again, this is just the first episode of many to come down the pipeline. So if there's anything that you want me to check out, anything that you want, talked about, discussed, any people you're interested in having featured on this podcast, please let me know. And we will definitely be able to integrate some of those decisions or some of those suggestions into the show. But without further ado, I want to close out every show by saying thank you, as always. And remember, we reign forever. And for those who do not know what that means, reign forever is the slogan for Kingdom. Reign forever simply means legacy, impact. And the creative things you release and put out will reign forever, will last longer than you are alive. We have paintings and sculptures and songs from people who aren't even here anymore that still inspire the culture today. So with Kingdom, every individual, every creative has the opportunity to create their own legacy, their own space, and their own impact into this culture. So, like I said before, thank you all for joining on today. And remember, we reign forever. Y'all have a good one.